Smashing Pumpkins. Shiny and Oh So Bright, Volume 1. No past, no future, no sun. First album in possibly 4 years, I'm going to say, for the Pumpkins. But the first to have James Iha in maybe 11 years. Or at least since Zeitgeist, or whatever the other weird free project that was apparently worse than Zwan. And, that escapes my name, whatever. And the first in a long time with James Iha, who was a much more long-term member than Chamberlain ever was. But the fact that we have the two of the founding members that primarily were around a lot more often in the band's prime years, when they were an actual band and not a moniker for Corgan. Which it wasn't to start, and then eventually it would become that way the moment Chamberlain left, after Zeitgeist. Or at least after whatever song they had on one of the guitar or rock band's games or something. I don't even remember that track, to be honest. But I'm going to tell you this right now, guys. I'm going to just say it. It's kind of a similar thing with Rainier Fog. With this one, because I like this album a lot. I like this a lot. I'm not gonna lie. To me, I'm not gonna. But the difference is with that one to a degree is that I'm not gonna lie here and say to you that this is better than those first three. It's not. But it's as close as we're gonna get at the moment, until Volume 2 comes out and we see how this whole thing as a whole is. Because right now, given that this just came out near the tail end of the year, I can only go off of this album as possibly an honorable mention. And I'm just going to say it's a thumbs up for right now. I really do. There's not much to talk about with Corgan's lyrics, because as a lyricist, it's kind of whatever. You could tell there's a bit of a goth sort of. And the start of this album, Knights of Malta, which I didn't bother to hear before I bought the album until I put this album on. It was probably the smartest thing for them to put this at the first track, because after that, everything else is more familiar territory for Pumpkins. Because this is the one thing that feels different and kind of comes off to me a little more on the Gary Clark Jr. side of things. He's got a new album out coming next year, so this is a good prep up for me on that regard. So. But, yeah, I can't wait for that. So far, those are the only two members. Jeff Schroeder is the only member of recently that's since Oceanic, I think. And forgive me for the people outside yelling and being jerks here and ruining my take here. Just ignore them. For fuck's sake. Hold on. How about you fucking assholes talk somewhere else? Not while I'm doing this, please. I mean, this is what I get for doing this in a public parking lot, but, yeah. In case you're wondering where we're randomly at today. In this car. Yeah. It's fine. I mean, it does have its cheesier moments, but it's kind of sort of what you expect from Corgan. But the way this is done, it's more the music itself and the production, which is, Rick Rubin's involved in this, and I think he got involved in past albums. Though, for me, this closest thing, sounding-wise, even ever since Oceana, has been pretty well Melancholy Infinite Sadness sort of a thing. Though Oceana did it in a different way, and then they tried to layer on in a way that was new for Pumpkins. So maybe there's something that's happened here that with Knights of Malta that maybe I may have been on that record that I didn't know about, or possibly in one of Corgan's solo records that most people wouldn't have mattered for, but yet it's on here and it somehow works. and it's them, I guess, trying to throw something different at you. Though I think it could be jarring and it could make or break some people. But don't worry, if you've heard the other tracks that, or at least like the likes of which are, Silver Sometimes Ghosts, which follows this up, and of course Solera. That and Travels, it's gotten to a point where the songs that are on the softer side are more along the lines of something kind of 1979-esque, but not really quite that memorably good, or maybe even to the extent of 33? I think that's the name of the track that's on the second disc. I could be wrong. I could be messing that up because that's another good softer song, but I'd say way more this way. And I do like Silver Sometimes more so, and that was a good choice for a follow-up single to Solera, I should say. And that was a fine track. Chamberlain's drums are great. The riffs are fine. It works with Corgan's vocals, though I feel, to me, Marching On to some extent, including the lead's guitar work there, and it feels more classic Pumpkins. And the final track that ends this album on the heavy notes, Seek and You Shall Destroy. And no, they're not ripping off Metallica that I can think of, so not to worry on that, even though that would have been interesting. But as far as I'm concerned, I could see some people bitching about this being generic, but I don't feel that way about this record, because you could kind of tell in comparison to previous albums, which were good for what they were, but you could tell something was missing. Even when the last record, Monuments of an Allegory, which I know I've listened to, though I haven't listened to more than once, it wasn't powerful enough for me to really go that far, but from what I did get to hear, or maybe I might have, but I don't remember if I did. I mean, they're good, but they're not, but they kind of don't stick on you as well in that way that the last Rush album may have done for, like, Crash Thompson or something. If you watched his How to Get Into's, check that out if you haven't, for Rush. So, yeah, I like this album a lot. It checks all the boxes I and most Pumpkin fans who prefer their first three albums, for the most part, or at least Melancholy Infinite Sadness, Specifics, and whatever they probably might have done that was fine but didn't quite click. It clicks here. It just seems like Iha and Chamberlain's Return really did something to this. Most especially Iha. So James, Iha or Iha, I could still be saying that wrong, but I'm saying let's just go with Iha. It's great. And I feel like on Iha's case of things, I don't know if some of the stuff from the recent Perfect Circle record kind of rubbed off into this record, but who knows? Maybe that's happened there too. I don't know. And of course, like, for some good examples of where some lyrics do work, Silver Sometimes Ghost is a good track for that. I mean, you start off with lines like blur like a rocket, torch like a dying sun, snap like a dragon, dive like a pelican. Or lines, even at least those lines are being a very good example of where it works. Lines that don't kind of come in through Knights of Malta, I guess. Salta's kind of fine for what it is. It's a pretty... Travels is not bad. I kind of enjoy in its own way, especially the drum and guitar riffing here and there when it comes to With Sympathy, which Chamberlain and Corgan wrote themselves instead of all the other songs, which are more so Corgan. And also, I'm looking at some of the liner notes, and let me see if you could see it. I doubt you could see it, but yeah, you can. Assisted by Kevin Smith. I don't know if you can read that or not, but yeah, it's so tiny. But yeah, seriously, like the Kevin Smith, who was once kind of a bigger dude, and now had to, because of his heart attack issue, went skinnier in a way that kind of is like, what? But anyway, yeah, I like this album. If you didn't, I guess go ahead, just be kind about it. Don't be a jackass in the comment section, which is a lot to ask when it comes to YouTube anyway. But yeah, thumbs up, guys. I mean, I would want to say rocks, but I still will acknowledge the first 3 albums are better. I have yet to listen to the follow-up albums with the primary original lineup, I guess, during the 90s era Pumpkins. But the 90s era Pumpkins that mattered, this is pretty close to that, in that almost Melancholy Infinite Sadness kind of way. Here and there. And it works. It works. It may seem generic to some people, or at least generic as far as Pumpkins, maybe. But it works. It works. Of 90, at least in terms of 90s alt rock, or at least what they were, which was their own island compared to most other alternative rock bands. But whatever that was, it was good. It's good and worth noting and talking about. I'm not going to sit here and say it's better than what we got out of those records, but it's definitely worth your time. I can definitely hereby say this album truly feels like a Pumpkins record, as it should be, which the other maybe past records zeitgeist somewhat, to the extent that I felt more like it was pretty well God of Machines, but with the tuning style of Melancholy that they hadn't used since Melancholy and Infinite Sadness. So it was kind of attempting to take what they were doing and some better tracks to be. It was kind of, I guess, a hit or miss version of what God of Machines was, but probably messier, but still somehow sounds semi-better, because at least they tried to take that sound, but make it come across more in a feel sense to Melancholy, Infinite Sadness, and Siamese Dream, maybe-ish, kind of, I guess, with that one. Though once Chamberlain left, then it became more of a moniker at that point for Billy Corgan's music, which I guess it kind of sort of is, but not really. I feel like whatever he was doing with those kind of records, past couple records, with iHot and Chamberlain himself, he was able to breathe some life into the newer stuff and make it sound more, feel at least more like the older stuff. In ways that, of course, Zeitgeist wasn't fully able to do, which if iHot had jumped on board at that point, maybe it would have been even better record with his input. Who knows? But I'm glad with this album that we got. And I'm hoping that this lineup stays on board for a little while longer, to see what Volume 2 of Oh So Shiny, Oh So Bright is supposed to be coming into next year. Because I can't really say anything on that record since it's not going to be out this year. So as far as just this album, I got to go with this. And it's an honorable mention enough. I almost want to put it up there, but I mean, I know there are far better records out there this year than this one, but I don't know if I would. I could almost rank it about as high as Alice in Chains one, but I don't know. I mean, Alice in Chains, I guess, fulfilled some things with me on that record a lot more than this record, but then again, I am instantaneous. I mean, it's kind of weird for me, I guess, that this is that as good as it is. You know, given how long we've had to wait, and, you know, the fact that, you know, Corgan was on a different direction with it, and he was coming kind of close, I guess, to what he wanted with the old Pumpkin sound, with what he was kind of doing with the newer stuff from Oceana into Monuments of Allegory, but this record, I feel, is a far more cohesive record in its own right. Or at least this half of what maybe of a full record we haven't exactly gotten yet, since it's only 8 only 8 tracks. It's pretty short, and given that it's only Volume 1 and we have to see 2, yeah. Overall, like I said, thumbs up. Potentially rocks, I guess. I'm not going to say masterclass. It's not nearly on that level, but it slightly comes enough close. Not in that Weezer, everything will be on the right, all right in the end kind of way, but I mean, it's kind of what I got out of like Alice in Chains' recent Rain or Fog, kind of, sort of. Though I may have given that a rocks, and maybe there were just more things about that record that made me think it would deserve to be up there with the Alice in Chains ones as opposed to this one, and I do feel the replay value on this one in comparison to the Alice in Chains record, you know, isn't, I guess, nearly as strong, but yet it kind of draws me in a way that's almost like what Silver Sun Pickups and Jimmy Eat World did in 2015, 2016, respectively, something like that. And that's what I'm getting out of here. So, what did you guys think of the new Smashing Pumpkins record? Oh, so shiny, oh, so bright. Leave a comment below, let me know. And as always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. We'll see you for the next video, which will probably either be another one of the Schmoedown Rocks next week, or eventually, maybe, hopefully, within a couple days, I may be doing some catch-ups. There's another album that came out this past week from POD. I'm definitely going to have to check out, especially if you've been with my early Facebook days. You know I've already talked pretty much sort of thoroughly on the albums that did matter when it came to POD, minus the Snuff the Punk and Brown albums. And of course, I'm looking forward to it kind of sort of because of the last album, which was a surprise to me how good it kind of was, and the fact that it still grew on me as an album was more of a surprise. Especially the title track being that title track. Well, anyway, I'm sorry getting into a tangent. I'll save that for the POD record when we finally get to that one. I still got to do Haken, and I definitely am going to do the Architects. That one may not go over as well. And I might get heat on that one. Or maybe this one, who knows. But anyway, that's it, guys. Once again, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, y'all. Peace.